Peace Warriors, it's Sally Ann. So we are talking about how these small shifts we can incorporate into our lives to align our energy and continue to have like this best life that we decide upon, right? Because it is about your choice, your energy, your empowerment, and your need for what fulfills your life. Right? These are things that we can do. I have to tell you, like years and years ago, I remember I was a little wah-wah, and I was working with this trainer, and he said, "Sally Ann, you're acting like a victim." And I was like, what? Like, I never want to be a victim in life. And so that's really where I think this empowerment journey started for me, like this mental review of not being a victim. I didn't think I was, but I knew I was stuck, and I knew I was in a place that I didn't love where I was, and I knew I was having a really hard time finding joy. I know that's hard for you to believe, but yes, it's true. It happened to me. And yeah, it was probably like 15 years ago, but I think that's what really propelled me into, quitting the corporate world, doing this full time, feeling like I can help others, and also I can help myself. I can bring that empowerment and permission to live this life that I believe is good for me into existence, into this reality. And then also about awareness, right? You know how everyone says, oh, be present, be present, be present. Well, what does that mean? No one tells you really what that means. So I really want to break that apart for us today. I really want to go into some really quick and easy strategies to bring this, I'm going to call it this micro habit stacking, that you'll see that gratitude, changing your perspective in the moment, in the day, for tomorrow is really so easy. It's right in the palm of your hand, and it's super easy to do, right? Easy, simple, powerful. You ready? We're going in. Okay. So this micro stacking kind of concept came about when I was working for our vision board classes and working with the manifestation book that we were talking about. And in the book, it doesn't have examples, but when I do in-person clients, I talk about examples of how that manifestation book was written. And we'll put a link in below so you can see that one, so you too can manifest things that you want in your life. And as I was giving examples, and one is, have you guys heard me talk about my red lights, how I love a good red light? And I know that sounds very counterintuitive, but here's the reality. We all hit red lights in life, physically and figuratively. Well, one day I was racing to a meeting. I was still working in the corporate world. I was racing to a meeting. I was going through my little town of 17,000 people, and there's 6 lights in the whole town. I hit every single darn light. I was like, what is going on? I never hit a red light, especially in this town. And I'm driving, hitting a red light, going, oh, so frustrated. Then going to the next light, hitting another red light. So after the 4th light, I was like, what am I going to do? It's only another 2 minutes, because I really want to be early for this meeting. Well, I'm sitting at the light, which is at an overpass, and I look ahead of me, because that's the other thing. The lights are really close together. So I'm looking ahead of me, and an accident just happened. Someone got into a pretty hefty accident, and it was, I don't know, half a football field in front of me. And I thought, oh my gosh, that would have been me. That would have been me. And so I sat there and I said, thank you, Source, God, Universe, for working in my favor, for protecting me, for giving me these darn red lights that I didn't want, because the universe gives you what you need, not what you want. And I said, okay, I am grateful for this moment. I am grateful for these red lights. And still to this day, when I hit a red light, again, not a lot of times do I hit a red light. I actually sit there and smile and say, oh good, I get to breathe for a moment, or I get to readdress or calm my brain or sit in gratitude. And so it really has become a blessing. So as I'm talking about these moments, someone said in the audience, so really, Sally, and what you're telling me, it's a whole bunch of small minutes, not a whole catastrophic group. And that was my aha moment. I was like, you are right. This is not about a huge throw out life and pull in this big old project. It's not about that. It is about these small, tiny moments that we can bring into our life every single day. Okay, sounds good, but how do we do it, right? So I'm going to break this into 3 parts of the day for you, because I think that's the easiest way to digest this, right? So let's talk about the morning ritual. I love rituals. I love sitting with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or something warm and wrapping my hands around it. Yes, even when it's 110 degrees. But I love the ritual of drinking coffee, the ritual of being with friends and chatting, right? It's about the ritual of it. I don't drink caffeine. Can you imagine me on caffeine? Right. So I don't drink caffeine, but it's the ritual of that decaf coffee or that hot water with lemon. And so let's just call it our morning ritual, okay? So when we're making our coffee or brushing our teeth or washing our hair in the shower, use one of those moments to say, what do I want my day to be? Now I would say, what's your intention for the day? Right? But I have had people say, I don't know what intention means. I don't know how to set an intention. No one taught me that. So we'll talk about that on another video. But what I want to say is setting intention is really just thinking about what your need is at the moment. So what do I need to happen? What do I want to happen? What do I not want to happen? Right? Is all about your intention. So I used to have this whiteboard in my shower with this crayon, and because that's where all my great ideas used to come when I was in the corporate world. And so on my board right now on the shower, or you can write it on the mirror or P-touch something, it says choose happy. And that is my intention for the day. I am going to choose the happy route. I am going to choose the moments that make me happy. And that may seem juvenile to some people, but the reality is it's my intention. My intention is to look at something with joy as I start my day. I sit there and I say, okay, yes, I take a deep breath. Sometimes I put my hands to my heart. Sometimes my hands are wrapped around that mug and I say, okay, today I'm going to choose happy. Today, things are not going to get to me. Today, I'm going to find good and love in the world. And when you set that intention, the energy around you shifts. And because that's what you're telling the world, I want joy, I'm choosing happy, that's what you attract, right? It's like the law of attraction with manifestation. Very, very similar, almost ideal. And so when you say, okay, I'm choosing happy, even if something happens that may not make you happy, someone cuts you off, or I don't know, that you see a lot of ambulances and you're on the phone and all of a sudden all these sirens are, interrupting your call. When you choose to look at it differently, then all of a sudden you say, wow, that guy that cut me off, I sure hope that he gets there safely. When you hear the fire trucks and the ambulances, you might say a quiet prayer to say, I hope they get there safe and they help those that need it, right? When you hit a red light, you would say, okay, I'm going to choose happy. So I'm not going to be all annoyed about this. I'm going to say, oh, look, I get a moment to check my lipstick or check my phone and tell Siri to call somebody. So this way you can choose and change the perspective of what the moment is. A huge thing to change your perspective. It is everything. So how do we do it? The exact moment of how you do it is when you're brushing your teeth, or you hit that pot of coffee to brew, or you're making your coffee. Take a breath. Be purposeful. Think about the moment that you're in and say, okay, what do I want my day to look like? I want it to be as stress-free as possible. Okay. And then when stress comes, you'll look at it differently. I promise you, this works. I promise you. Okay, so now let's talk about the middle of the day. And there's a couple of things that we need to do in the middle of the day, especially when maybe stress hits us, right? We make that to-do list and we're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all these things done? You don't have to get them all done in one day. You're not a super person. You can delegate or make your priorities for the day and get those 3 things done. I used to think I can get like 28 things done in one day. Then I had the reality check of probably can't get 28 completely done. So break it out into steps and get a whole bunch of steps done. So when this stress hits, like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of my to-do list. Again, I want you to be present. I want you to look at it and I want you to take a breath and say, okay, let me refocus. Let me say, what is working out for me at this moment, right? You may have a list of 25 things, but what did you get done? What's working for me right now? That will help you shift. Again, you're pulling in different energy. It makes a difference. Also, I think when we get stressed, we have a tendency to wander, right? We get ourselves stuck. And what's a prime reason of when we get stuck? I don't know about you, but it's scrolling. All of a sudden, I'm scrolling. We go down the rabbit hole on our computer, on our phones, right? We're either on social media or going off to this rabbit hole that I call it, that has nothing to do with what we need to focus on. So when that happens, again, it's okay, let me refocus. Here's the thing. You've already figured out that you're indulging in something you don't need to indulge in, right? You've already said, oh my gosh, why am I scrolling? How did I lose an hour, right? So you don't beat yourself up. You go, I was scrolling. I lost an hour. Okay, I'm going to refocus. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to put my hand at my heart or my throat. I like touching myself that way. It brings me into a moment of being present. And that works for a number of people. Sometimes we bring our hands together. It brings us, again, present. I can feel myself, my humanness. And then you can take a deep breath and say, okay, what has worked for me right now? What am I grateful for? What do I know I can achieve? Just pick one of those questions. We're talking split second. You can make this happen for you. All right? Think that's doable? Right? So when you're stressed or you're reacting differently, you're breaking the clutter, you're breaking that consistent barrier that we put up for ourselves, such as scrolling or going down the rabbit hole. And we pull ourselves into presence. That itself is working. It's muscle memory for your brain. It's muscle memory for your heart and for your lungs and for your body. Just a little tidbit. You know that's like the joy of meditation, right? Meditation, yes, of course the goal is to be able to sit there for 10, 20, 15 minutes, whatever you desire. But really, it's the muscle memory of when that little chatter comes in, you bring back to your breath, right? And then you sit in your meditation listening to your breath. And then when the chatter happens again, you recognize the chatter and you bring it back. That's like lifting weights. No one walks into the gym and bench presses 85 pounds. Right? Well, okay, maybe there are some of you out there. But if you haven't worked out in a while, you're giving yourself muscle memory. You're retraining your brain. You're retraining your body. So just like when you walk into a gym and you decide that you're going to get stronger and be more focused and teach these muscles what they need, that's what you do when you're meditating. You keep bringing it back. That's the same thing of being present, of taking the breath, of saying, okay, I need to fix this, right? Or I want to do this for myself. There's your perspective switch. You're not fixing something that's broken. If you're being aware, trust me, you're already way ahead of the game. You are being aware. You're being present. You're deciding what your need is. You are empowering yourself. Okay? Don't forget that little tidbit. I think it's really, really important on how we look at ourselves. Okay? The last bit is at the end of the day. Now, sometimes we can sit in gratitude and say, okay, I'm really grateful for this part of my day. When I do my gratitude journals, I always do them at the end of the day. I can find so much gratitude at the end of the day, right? That's when I can write, oh my gosh, a list of 20 things. But when we have a rough day, sometimes it comes a little harder. So again, what do we do? I love in rituals. So when you walk in the door and you kick off your shoes and you take off your bra, put on your pajamas, right? Even though you still have like 4 hours to sleep, or you jump in the shower, or you wash your face, take a moment, take a deep breath. Say, okay, why am I upset about today? All right, maybe you felt injustice, or it was super stressful, or it just didn't work out the way you wanted to. All right, as you continue to do this over and over and over again, I promise things will shift. But the first day or 2 or 3 might be a little rough. So, or you've forgotten to set your intention in the morning. So when you're home and you're about to open a can of soup for dinner because that's all the bandwidth you have to nourish yourself, or eat a carrot, you, again, take a deep breath. I like to take 3 at night. Or when I'm really stressed. I just take 3. So you take it in through your nose and out through your mouth. A little secret is when I worked in the corporate world, at 2:36 every day, I had an alarm go off, right? I'm using technology. And that alarm only said, breathe. It was this beautiful music that just helped me stop and be aware. So use your technology. And everybody in the office is so funny because I could be in a meeting, and if people heard that, they'd be like, hey, Sally Ann, breathe. And I would laugh and be like, thank you. I needed that reminder. That's why it was set, right? So it brought me power. It brought me presence. It made me think about what my intention was for the day. So don't forget to use those tools that we have around us. And so at that end of the day, after I take 3 deep breaths and just sit and say, okay, what went well today? I'm sure there's lots of things that go well. And I have to tell you, it could be as simple as I have the freedom to make this can of soup. This is the most delicious carrot. And I am so thrilled to be eating this carrot because I didn't get to eat all day. There will be these moments of gratitude that will start to flood in. And the reason I say start is once you make the intention, they come easy. They come easier. All of a sudden things come in, and you may laugh at yourself. My friend, one time told me, have you ever eaten salt on an apple? I was like, no. And he was like, it's the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. And I laugh because now if I put salt on an apple or on watermelon, I say, wow, this is so good. I have gratitude for the food that I'm consuming. And it changes the energy around me. All right, so if you're in your ritual and you're doing that when you eat, it helps calm down the day. Now, a beautiful, beautiful thing that you can do at the end of the day, when you crawl into bed, you may not have a pen and paper when you crawl into bed to do your gratitude journaling then. It could just be a list, by the way. It doesn't have to be like this whole big story, because I love to write, but at the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is pick up a pen and write a story. When I gratitude journal, it's bullet points. Boom, 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 boom. And sometimes they're 3 or 4 words. It's not, I am grateful for. Sometimes it is, I am grateful for a person, a situation, how I feel about myself, what the day has brought me. And sometimes it's just like green light, made it on time, right? So Go with the flow. Don't put all these hard parameters against yourself. So at the end of the day, at night, hopefully before your head hits the pillow and you pass out cold because you've had a very full and beautiful day, you say, okay, what do I want my sleep to be? Right? Because we all have I feel like so many people these days are saying, I just couldn't sleep. I was so fitful. When that happens, before you go to sleep, I'm going to tell you, set an intention. I'm going to say, tonight I'm going to sleep really well. I am going to wake up without pain. I am going to dream. I am going to sleep deeply. I am going to breathe correctly. I am going to wake up restful. Because tomorrow's going to be a kick-ass day. Tomorrow's going to be an awesome day. Right? So not only are you setting your intention for your sleep, but also you're teasing tomorrow, which is so important. As we continue to grow in this gratitude moment, you're going to see that that energy changes your brainwave patterns. That pre-decision and perception switch, it changes your brainwave patterns. I mean, we know scientifically, there's 10,000 articles on gratitude and how it changes your brainwave patterns. We know it happens, right? Think positively, people say. No one's giving you the tools to do that. So that's what hopefully I am doing for you today, is cracking open some new awareness, peeling back the paper on some truth, giving you tools so this way you can change the energy around you. You can walk into the space that you want your life to be. So I'm going to give you 2 more bits. One is, I'm really excited that after 3 years, we have written a 278-page gratitude journal. Don't get scared. It has all the information you need and these beautiful prompts every day to go through. Not only does it talk about the science and how to use the book and how to cut yourself some slack, but it also works through the energy centers in your body. So there's 7 chapters, and each chapter will ask very specific prompts for the energy that we need to bring in. So this way you can do 1 chapter at a time. You can just start at the top of the book and work your way all the way through. But if you feel, oh, I need a little gut health, you can go to a healing center that we have signed up. I think it's called Love Yourself, and it has yellow pages. Or if you really feel like you're having communication problems, you can go to Speaking Your Truth, which has blue pages. But you'll work through it. So that's launching on April 26th. Look for those special sale days on Amazon. You'll hear more about that. The other thing I want to tell you is I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to give you a 7-day challenge. Whoop, just 7 days. 7 days. 2, I'm going to give you a choice, all right? You can try the techniques that I've given you for just 7 days. Pick 1, pick all 3. You can find an accountability partner where you text or write or call one person every day and they do the same to you. Then they give you a positive gratitude that they've experienced that day, and you give it back. You give them yours, right? You're going to share. You're going to have that accountability partner. The third thing is, here we go with 3s, right? The third thing is to write just 3 gratitudes a day. 1 about your day, 1 about someone else. Someone smiled at me, someone really helped me out, my best friend called me, I haven't talked to her in 4 weeks, right? Somebody else. And then the third one is something you're grateful about yourself, all right? So day, others, yourself. That's the triple challenge in the 7-day challenge. I think you can do it. No, I know you can do it. Now, if you want to share those with me down here on this YouTube channel, or if you want to put it on any of my social media, I would love to read it and see it and experience it with you, because gratitude spreads. Gratitude is like the hiccups, right? Or the yawns. Once you can clear your body and bring in that energy, you see other people around you will start to have gratitude. Other people around you will also feel that energy shift, and they might start treating you differently. And hopefully it's in a really good way, and you can recognize that. So let's do that 7-day challenge, okay? You can start today. You can start on April 21st, because the 26th is that magic day when the gratitude journal comes out, which we're so excited. But it is still about you. It is about how you need to process, how you need to start. Heck, do 21 days. Do all 3 7-day challenges in a row. See what happens. Tell me what happens, because I know I am going to relish the joy and the shift that you are bringing into your life, because you are empowering yourself. You are deciding what you need in your life in these tiny, tiny, tiny little steps throughout the day that will bring you love. All right? So good luck. I know you can do it. And hey, remember that you're loved.